Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life chose us. Thank you to Revyz for backing us up and making the Jira Life possible.
And welcome to what's going to be the longest episode of the Jira Life.
That is a claim there, sir.
Josh likes to go long.
Josh likes to go long, but does he like to go MCB long?
We could have kept going with MCB, but Bob, that'd be the party pooper.
Wait, but the longest episode would be the 24 hours. So the real question, Josh, are you ready to go 24 hours plus 1 minute?
Plus 1 minute.
No.
No? Not for all the bags of wall or bags of candies in the world?
No.
What would it take for you to do a 24-hour live stream?
Monetary compensation.
What?
I'm sorry, but
bags of candy in the world would be like you can go and sell those, pawn them.
Not really.
I've never seen candy in a pawn shop. Not that I've been in pawn shops, but it wasn't on Pawn Stars. I don't think they had any bags of candy.
No.
They were like, "Hey, how much are you going to give me for this? These Toblerones?"
Blame me for having gone to the Jelly Belly factory recently, and like I'm pretty sure something from there would be on it's pawnable.
Perhaps.
But speaking of which, maybe it's time for us to start the Jira Life candy shop. Like Mr. Beast did it with Feastable, so we should make a chocolate bar.
So once upon a time when I was working on websites, me and a friend had an idea that we were going to create the candybar.pub. And it was both going to be like managing content on websites, but we also wanted to have a dive bar. And then the dive bar, all of the drinks would be candy bar flavored, which I thought sounded amazing. We didn't do it, unfortunately.
Mathor would like to know what porn star you're talking about, Sarah.
Pawn. I said pawn.
Matt might be of hard hearing at this point because he heard
Pawn Stars. Right? Wasn't it on like TLC or something like that? A shop
back when
Vegas.
they stopped doing that history and start doing more reality, yeah.
Yeah. When they decided to drop the Learning Channel and just be called TLC. So
Martin, we got Team 26, Jira Life candy. It's just sugar and water.
I'm not saying the candy. I'm thinking, and I know we've talked about this internally, but I'm going to put the pressure on by saying this on a show. I'm still thinking trading cards are the move.
But you can't eat trading cards.
Oh, well, then you combine the two, and then it's like baseball card packs when they used to have bubble gum in the cards, right?
Lickable cards.
Now everybody's happy.
So now that we've gone off on wild tangents, Josh, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks.
If Atlassian wasn't candy.
Thank you for joining us, Josh. Thank you for.
Yeah, no problem.
There's one lady joined the show about a month ago, and I got a direct message on LinkedIn. She's like, "You guys ever going to talk about the topic of the show?"
No.
And I was like, "Welcome to the Jira Life."
Rookie.
We don't always talk about the topic of the show.
It's just clickbait, man. It's just like watch the show bait.
It's not the Jira work, it's Jira Life. We got to look at the entire balance of things.
Yes.
Sean's ready to start suggesting some adult beverages.
Yes.
That's Sean. That is for TGL after dark. That's
Dark.
a whole other thing we're planning.
The after dark show.
Oh my
So
God.
Josh, let's jump into you and your life. Talk about some new and exciting. What's
I didn't agree to that. What are we talking about here?
This is the Jira Life where we become the people's therapists.
Right.
The doctor line is open. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Oh, geez.
What's keeping you up at night right now?
Man, I don't know. Sounds like that status button move is going down really well with everybody.
Said no one ever, right?
Yeah. That was,
I got an email yesterday from a client, and they're like, "Did you move the button?"
No joke. I went to work on an issue this morning. I spent about a good 5 minutes trying to find the button.
Yeah.
I just like how I get blamed. Like, did you move the button? I'm like, I did not move the button. I promise
don't-
you, I did not.
I don't have
they
that
did not
power,
consult with
people.
me to move the button.
It's even harder to see if you're in dark mode and your like status is in the like a new status. It just blends into the background. You can't even see it.
Mhm.
Leave it to
Yeah.
Atlassian to
Rough,
make
man.
something that's not broken. At this point, though, like
Yeah.
we're this far away from just Jira being a ClickUp clone. Because ClickUp has the status right there, right underneath the
Yeah.
title.
Well, where was it on Data Center?
Not there.
Pretty much
Similar,
same place
though.
it is. Pretty much same place it is in cloud.
It's over on the right, and not. I
Yeah.
thought
No,
it
it
was more
was
so on
like
the
in the
left.
middle, right? Because what I
Yeah.
liked about Data Center, at least
Well,
back in the
yeah.
day, I guess it
Ish.
depends which version of Data Center, but there was a point in Data Center where I like that you can actually click a button to go to the status, not a drop down.
Oh yeah, where you could decide which ones show up.
Yeah,
Sort
that
of,
was my favorite thing.
Mm.
right.
Bring that feature back.
Op sequence.
Yeah.
That ops bar crap doesn't work, Rodney. I tried to do it the other day. I'm like, work for the
It
Jira
hasn't
guy.
worked since Data Center.
But yeah, no. Let's see. So then I replied to that client. I told him like it wasn't me, it was Atlassian. And then her response was like, "Well, why the hell would they do that?"
How much time do you have? Let's go back through and
Can we
start
talk
just think-
about the
I
new
just think it-
admin.atlassian.com too?
The what?
The new admin.atlassian.com?
hang on. Let Josh come on with
Go,
his.
Josh.
No,
Just do that.
I'm just saying like it is, and I've seen other people make the point too, but it is a lot of change at once. And
Mhm.
I think they need to slow down a little bit.
I think I forgot who did. I think it was either David from AppWhite or Jens from Released. Somebody said, if you're gonna do all these changes, give it to us in one shot. Because I just updated all my documentation to say work.
right.
Now I'm
Right.
gonna redo all my screenshots to
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Salesforce, what they do is they'll wait for like a quarter and they'll bund up all the changes and put out a big quarterly release. But they'll also like do these webinars for admins to go, hey, here's what's changing. So you could get ready for it and warn your people. This is what Atlassian needs to do. They don't need to just be constantly pushing out changes as fast as they can. They need to bundle them up and still push them out on their schedule. I mean, do it once a quarter when they choose to, but announce it, make a big deal about it, celebrate these new features, and give people some warnings so they could get their people ready.
But to also do it, I think, more bundled, right? Because like spoilers for anybody who's listening to this, don't bother updating your screenshots now and wait until the projects to space changes happens in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just gonna have to redo everything again by Halloween. Which, full disclosure, I don't know the actual date that they're gonna change from projects to spaces, but they said something about fourth quarter. So anything after September 30th is game.
Just being 100% honest, the more I think on it, I don't hate the change from project to spaces.
I don't mind it either, but now I gotta redo a lot of screenshots, a lot of documentation, a lot of things in a book.
Mhm. Can AI just start updating those images for you yet?
I know, right?
Just gotta go find all the words projects. And
All right,
then-
now can we talk about admin.atlassian.com that also wasn't broken and had to get changed?
yes.
Because everything's under apps now. Like, okay, wait, before we even go there, who the heck approved moving the apps administration part out of Jira?
Right? Yeah.
That was another genius moment from someone that should have gotten some clearance from the Jira
I
Life.
think part of the challenge though is obviously the piecemeal, right? Because it's every day, like what's going to be different, but without understanding the end game, without understanding what is that bigger picture ultimately. If we had, for me personally at least, right, if there was some knowledge of ultimately this is why we're doing this, I can play along with it a little bit better. I can be a little more flexible, or understanding. But yeah, when you go, who did that and why? And we don't have any sense of the benefits of that change apart from, hey, just cause. That would be nice to have.
Yeah.
I just feel like somebody's getting like they're just justifying the payment of the people that didn't get replaced by AI. So they're like push to prod.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't.
William has it in one sentence. Feature push is, I won't even say it's a success metric.
Is
It is the success metric they're going by. How many features can we push out in a given week?
Yeah. Well, let's define feature.
make every Jira Life's admins miserable. Feature check.
Did we get 1,000 thumbs down immediately? Yes, we did, but we pushed.
Hey, but we have a voting feature in Jira that nobody uses.
Yes. Let us use that a little bit.
Oh, Atlassian we could, but seriously, why you guys got to do it like this?
And yes, Sean, there will just be one app.
I'm telling you, they're getting rid of everything. It's just gonna be the tool.
Mm-hmm. But
Although
who's
if their name of the GitHub for Jira app that they changed to GitHub for Atlassian is any indicator, maybe they just rebrand to Atlassian.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they used to be GitHub for Jira and now it's just Git for GitHub for Atlassian.
I don't see them going to just I can understand that line of thinking, but I feel like it's much more likely that everything just gets called Jira
because it's the name. Yeah, I was talking. I shouldn't say I forget because I know exactly who I was talking to, but I don't know if people watch my Summer of Atlassian series. But one high profile Atlassian that I was speaking with said that Atlassian at one point did consider renaming to just Jira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because Jira is more known than Atlassian.
I thought
I always have to introduce people. Atlassian, the makers of Jira.
Yes, by Atlassian.
By Atlassian. Though I do like the Atlassian name. But Jira.
Yeah, what has the recognition is definitely because everything is Jira. And if it's not Jira, then it's just a feature of Jira that somehow is still Jira.
It's all
Josh,
just Jira.
So what's next then? So we don't like the new UI changes. I hear you're speaking somewhere.
I am.
I think maybe. I hope so.
News to me, man.
You won't get candy if you don't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I hate to see
I won't get
illegal
candy. I won't get illegal candy. I hope no one from the Hilton is watching this.
I know.
They're not candy. It's bags of swag.
Right. Swag bags. Yes. So yeah, Alex thought it was a good idea to invite me to give a keynote. So if it's bad, we know who to blame. It will not be me. It will be his fault. But yeah, I'm giving a keynote for the product admin track at the Atlassian Builders Summit. Yeah, it's exciting for me. I've never done a keynote before. I mean, I've done like speeches and presentations and all that, but this will be a first. So hopefully it's good.
Like no big deal.
And why that track?
I mean, I think I definitely have no business doing like a Forge track presentation or project management. Yeah, I'm not. That wouldn't be good for me either. I mean, I can manage a project, but I'm not a project manager.
We had a lot of debates, so we handcraft or hand selected all the.
Yeah, how'd you pick? Let's hear that.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear that
Yeah.
process. And why did I get picked? Who was your first choice, by the way?
We had a very short list. Matt Dorr was on that list, and Matt Dorr is another speaker. But Matt Dorr, unbeknownst to me, actually does know Forge. I just never heard Matt Dorr talk about Forge. So Katerina, who's one of our folks that are helping me organize the event, she was like, why don't we do Matt Dorr for Forge? And I'm like, well, because I had marked them for admin, right? So when we first met in like early June to come up with the event, like we put like 3 names in each bucket. And so we just were working off of that list.
So Matt was one, Josh was the other.
I won't be if I was like
you want to
third.
spill the beans?
Yeah, the guy that's pointing with his 2 fingers.
No,
Yeah.
because I can tell you he's not going to do a keynote.
Well, let me see if I still have this stuff. I gotta go find things.
He
We-
also is speaking in third person again, so that's concerning.
But I thought he likes to do that.
Mm, he's good at it. Doesn't mean he likes it.
No, I gotta figure out where they put people move all my stuff in Confluence.
Oh, so you do know how to use Confluence.
I got in trouble for having everything on a piece of paper, so they told me how to put it in Confluence.
Those look like crib notes. Like you get to bring one sheet of notes into your test. And that's
So while he's looking this up, I should note that me, Lina, Bob are all doing all the planning for Barcelona for Team 25 Europe in Confluence. And the amount of times we have to remind Alex to go look in Confluence because he's asked some questions that we've already documented. Sometimes ad nauseum.
You know, you wouldn't have fun if I didn't mess with you so much like that.
You know, I just give it back as good as I get. So
The true sign of an expert in these tools is someone that doesn't use them.
There you go. See,
I thought that was
Once you've reached that level, you're like, man, I don't want to. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Joke. It's a joke. It's not a joke for Alex. He does not want to use them. But yeah,
it's not that I don't want to use them. It's just I don't know. I always have a pen in my hand, so it's just faster.
I mean, I will go to the grave saying paper has certain advantages. Most or the one that tops my list for the advantage of paper is I have never had a piece of paper run out of battery.
right.
I've never had a piece of paper just randomly corrupt.
I can't
Catch
find
fire,
it.
yes. Corrupt, no.
I have thrown paper away though. I usually take a picture of all my notes before I throw them in the trash.
Like my kids' artwork. This is great.
Top.
And it's gone.
Saving it forever.
Yep.
All right. So the
Yeah.
point was, I think that you had some people that you
Yeah.
had thought.
Yeah, we have some people,
these
and
would be great.
Josh was high up on my list, and I had we had the lobby. We had to convince Brian and Katerina, my wife, and Fabian.
Wait, I
and,
missed it. Oh, to do what?
Because we were picking keynote speakers for each section, right? And so there was a lot of lobbying that we all had to do to convince each other to which ones we were going. And we've been meeting every single
you know what
week.
you could have done though, Alex? So you could have created a work item for each one of the people and then used the voting feature, and then everybody could have decided who they wanted in which spot.
That's what that feature has been built for.
Okay, I think people who only watch the main show, we're going to have to explain where this voting stuff came from.
Okay, yeah. So proceed, Miss Sarah, because
So this was from Monday's 420, right?
yeah.
I don't even remember where we started, where we have conversations, but yeah, so we were going through.
It was just one of the features that are built into Jira that we're just going through.
And
then we're like, what's this for?
I think it was me, but one of us made the comment, do we know anyone who has actually used the voting feature in Jira
Other than Jack.
or a workflow anywhere
And then other than Jack, it was the other.
other than Jack?
I remember using it many years ago for a use case, and it didn't really. I mean, it wasn't long before we abandoned it, but yeah. I remember trying to use it. I was like, all right, we're gonna try to use this because it was a situation where it was like, okay, this would actually help, but there wasn't. I don't remember there being a lot of functionality around the voting field that I could utilize. So yeah, I remember it being kind of a dud.
Yeah, we I tried. Well, we after the Team 25 Anaheim, right? We did a retrospective in Confluence whiteboards, and that has a voting feature that's a little bit more visual. I couldn't figure it out. I was clicking everywhere on that screen. I couldn't get it to vote anywhere.
Well, Matt has done it. He says that lots of places use it for selecting issues to go into a sprint.
Oh,
So there you
there's
go.
a reason why they put it in there. That makes sense.
I mean, I don't doubt that may have been a use case at one point in time, but lots of places seems like a stretch.
Yeah.
And or
So-
the people who you need to vote aren't necessarily the people who had access to the items
So,
or willingness to
Josh,
go into Jira.
but what are you gonna bless us with? Do you want to give us a preview at least? What's the title? What are we?
What is the title?
Where are those slides? I've still got 3 weeks to figure this out.
Remember the title? How bad is
If only
that?
there was a system that could store this.
Isn't there like a
this is-
website that you guys made for this?
Yeah, but this is how bad it is because Josh has even like the title of the
Go to the
episode
website.
tells Josh that we're going to talk about this.
Go to the website. It's on the website.
It's on the website. All right. So Josh is going to talk about the future of the Jira admin.
Yeah, basically. It will be so yeah. I mean, so here's kind of I guess the elevator pitch in a way. But my view, and I've said this on some other shows too, but like my view, especially right now, is that the title of Jira admin or Atlassian admin is antiquated, and it is to me it's kind of a bad word, only because it doesn't actually encompass what like the true job is. And I think over time, I think it started just from a place of simplicity. Like, oh, they're just an admin of a tool. It's fine. And businesses never really gave it a second thought. Like it wasn't really, it's just an admin role, right? You're just there to click buttons and answer tickets, right? It was never really thought of beyond anything, besides that. And in my opinion, to really do the role justice and to do the job well, you need to be more than that. And you need to be someone who, has analytical skills, has critical thinking skills, has the ability to speak to people and present and back up your findings with data and like all those things that, like, for example, like a consultant or a solution architect, ideally, a solution architect style person is much more equipped to do those things. And I think if you want to kind of take your career to the next level in this ecosystem, you really have to get yourself in that place. Number one, it's in your interest because people in that kind of role do make a lot more money in this ecosphere, but it's also just it's the right thing to do from your user's perspective too. Like they will have a better experience with the tools. The business will get more value out of the tools if you get yourself into that kind of position. And so like the way that in terms of the talk itself, it's going to be a little bit personal and kind of talk a little bit about my kind of story and how I got there, but also kind of the methodology that I used over the years to help myself kind of get to the next level and the next level and the next level. But also, all that being said, it was all done under the purpose and the guise of helping the users at the end of the day. And that's like where it came from. But in doing that, in putting so much focus on helping the business and helping the users, I was actually helping myself progress in my career. And I wasn't just there to be an admin. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah, you got to come. We only got 43 spots left and we're still a month out. So if you want to come and listen to the rest of that story, sign up.
Well, I have a question though. So, is it a person or is it a team? And I reckon
you have to come to the event to get your answer.
Well, this is going to be a really short show then. We can't talk anymore about this topic.
We can.
I'm just messing with you, Sarah.
But I think Sarah does raise a good point.
Yeah, is it a person or a team? Now, granted, not every organization can afford to have multiple admins, let's say.
Right.
But you could have other people, right, who play roles and have responsibilities related to all the things that we're seeing over in the chat. Business analyst, system analyst, project manager, architect, trainer, UI, right? Yeah, it's good. It did say system analyst. I did say that. So do you have any opinions, advice on that?
I mean, it's in terms of like what you should, like the other roles and stuff that you should try and get, or people that are best equipped for it.
Do you think there's an expectation that all of that is one person? And that is for lack of a better term right now, right? The admin, the Atlassian admin.
I mean, I think there are aspects to every one of those roles that you listed that are what kind of like an Atlassian, like an ideal Atlassian solution architect would be. I think I think a lot of those are skills. It's not just the role. Like I don't think it is many roles within one. I think it's one role with many talents. And it's just those are skills that you have to develop over time. And I think a lot of that does come with time, but a lot of it also comes with you taking the initiative to like do things. And it is a lot more, I think at the end of the day, it's a lot more of a proactive role than a reactive role. A reactive role is an admin role. It is, I have to sit back and wait for everyone to tell me what they want, and I have no say in it whatsoever. A proactive role is much more, hey, I got this request from you. Can we talk about this a little bit? Because, I'd like to understand more about like the problem you're trying to solve, and like, where did this problem actually come from? Like, what is causing this, as opposed to just, oh, here's your field. And I think once you start having those conversations and like building those relationships with your end users and your business units and your teams and your departments, and start kind of building up that reputation and building that muscle. I mean, it's kind of a muscle. It's a different way to approach your work. And once you start doing that, though, in my experience, that can open doors. That can lead to, if anything, you getting a lot busier, because all of a sudden people look at you as a resource, as a knowledge resource, as a true teammate, as opposed to just someone like a help desk agent who is there to just work your ticket.
Are there other roles in companies that you think are similar or that require that breadth of experience and skill sets?
I mean, I think that's, to me, it's like that. It is kind of akin to something like a solution architect, and solution architects exist outside of just Atlassian, obviously. Like they are, I mean, obviously they're a lot more tech focused.
No,
but I mean, you have like pre-sales engineers, you have solution engineers and stuff that aren't necessarily tech driven, or they work in IT. They a lot of times they'll work in sales, but they're product experts, and they're those types of folks. But I think it's just I don't think you need to come from somewhere specifically. I don't think any role at the company necessarily has a leg up. The only true advantage that you have is that you are in the role of admin. And at that point, you can kind of hopefully control your own destiny a little bit.
Yeah. I was trying to make a case like for parity, right? That there's this idea.
Yeah.
That,
I think people like that are like business analysts or other solution architects, or anything that's in a role that is at that kind of analytical business process, enablement, those types of roles, I think are fairly Similar.
Yeah, and so that if you know, if those roles have are recognized for what
Yeah.
they contribute,
Yeah.
right? Then taking that role and saying, hey, these things are equal, basically.
Yeah.
What this role does is the same thing as this role that is not just admin, right? It's not just
There
click
was
this box, configure
But
this.
you want to be
So-
very careful though with going down that route, because like when I worked at my last job, I was a solution architect and I mastered the Atlassian domain, but I hit a pay increase wall because Atlassian was 1/100th of the pie of impact.
Mhm.
And so my leadership constantly kept telling me if I wanted to move up to that other next, like, you know, director level, the only way to move up was to start working on things that had a bigger, more profound impact across an organization. And Atlassian is just, again, such a small piece. So it's
I
a
mean,
dangerous
how do you
place to be
define?
in.
But how did they define impact? Like, was it a tool being used by the entire organization?
No, because the tool is already organized or used by the entire organization, right? But it was like the biggest thing that I started doing was I started evangelizing the utilization of the tool across all the different functions, so that different business units statement of or system of work can now start taking advantage of the Atlassian tools.
Yeah. Well, what did they mean by like 1/100th?
Well, because there's Salesforce tools, right? There's
Sure.
right from an IT perspective at the Atlassian world is such as just one tool out of thousands of tools that an IT organization implements and rolls out across an organization.
Yeah. I mean, I would have pushed back on that immediately. Like if it was me, I would have, because like I would have said, well, not everybody in the company uses Salesforce. Number one. Number
I
two,
know, but
like everybody uses the Atlassian stack, so it does have a big impact.
it does, but not everybody's ready to be a solution architect, right? Like, what do you
No.
do with like your script runner experts or like just the people that are really good at patching up Jira?
Well, not everybody's going to want to do this. What I
I mean,
recommend.
what are they going to do then? Are they the ones
may
that
be
are
perfectly
responsible
happy
for
in their
telling
role.
are they the ones that are responsible for telling the rest of the people when Atlassian moves a button?
I mean, if you want to be a good admin, yeah. I mean, you still should be a good admin. You still should practice good, good tool hygiene, and you should respect your users and ensure that they're getting the best experience possible. I mean, I think you owe that. You owe that to your users. If you're going to be a steward of the tool, you need to be a good steward of the tool.
Here's the thing, and this goes to the core of what Atlassian believes in, which again, we could go into, do they really do this or not? That's a whole nother conversation, but they are all about the power of teams and unleashing the power of teams. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, as a, just using this term because that's the generally accepted currently, Jira admin, you wear a lot of hats. Mm-hmm. I think if we get back to Sarah's original question here, does it make sense to have one person wear all those hats or get a team of specialists that each wear a different hat?
I mean,
and then have like that solution architect over them that is organizing all that chaos into a concerted effort.
Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, absolutely. Yes. If you can make that happen and you have the budget or the approval or the ability to build a team, then yeah, for sure. Once you have that, then yes, you absolutely should, and I think anyway, like to your point, I think as your instance grows too, depending on the size of the instance, the bigger it gets, the less you're going to be able to do everything. You're just not. You're going to have your own kind of piece of the pie, just from a sheer volume standpoint. Like you can't necessarily work every aspect of it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think yes, if you can, then you should. But if you're on an island, which a lot of admins that get directly hired by a company, that's all they're doing, they're on islands. Mm-hmm. It is a lonely job. It is a lonely job, and you have to fight to make it important. You have to fight to make it valuable and to show value. So otherwise, you're just considered a button pusher. And I think ultimately the the grand opus that I'm trying to get across is that everyone that's in this role is more than that. They are. They just need to show it, and they just need to kind of believe in themselves and get themselves into a position where they can make a bigger impact and hopefully create a bigger, longer lasting career for themselves.
You gotta go like this with your finger. Point at your belief sign.
Oh yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I was wondering too. I'm like, Mario,
You guys not use
what
belief
does
sign right
Yoshi
there?
have to do with any of this?
I need to put up a belief sign so I can put it.
I mean,
I think-
so like as an example, right? Like, and I'll talk about, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like I've talked about this before. But when I was at Nextiva, I had just
Hey,
came.
we don't say names so we don't get in trouble.
What? I'm not gonna say anything bad. This is all public information, by the way. When I first got there, I had just left after my first stint in consulting, right? So the way that I approached being an admin and being in that world had already shifted. And I think it did have a lot to do with kind of the success that I went later on and had there. But I started there as just a Jira admin. Like that's all I was brought there to be. And, cut to, sorry about the dog barking, cut to a year or two later. And I was able to hire 3 other people and like build a team, an actual Atlassian solution team. And in terms of what to call us, like that was a big debate that I had with the business, with my leaders, because I wanted to call us Atlassian solution architects. And they were like, absolutely not. You're not architects. And I'm like, okay, then we are Atlassian solution specialists, right? Like, fine. And that was the compromise that we had to make. But everybody on that team treated it as if they were architects. And that's the way that I intentionally created the team. We weren't there to just be admins.
Yeah.
We had to provide more value than that.
It's a product, right? That's what I always look at it as a product management type of role too, because it is this thing that even though it already exists as a product, it is this thing that you are building and hyper customizing and making sure that it is a tool that, does the things for the company that it needs to do. And I always wish for places to give it as much consideration as the products that they're building and selling, right? Like would you build and sell something, staff that the same way that you're building and supporting something for your internal teams?
Yeah, because when you solution your Jira correctly, or at least you mold it to your actual processes, like it's a very much more powerful tool. But that does mean that your Jira admin needs to have such a more profound and intimate knowledge of the business than I would argue than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really hard to solution for something that you don't know. And so like today I was on a call with a client of mine and they designed these like overly complex machines. And we're trying to set up like a whole JSM assets flow and like, figure out their schemas and what's an object type. And we're like, I'm in there, like if I'm an employee of theirs, and we're like, what does this do? What does this part do? Or like, how are these related? And like, we're like in there. And I told the guys, I'm like, this is a really hard job to do because I don't know anything about your domain, yet you expect me to come in and tell you how to build something that is so complex without actually knowing how your stuff works.
This is... sorry, but let me get this out.
Yeah.
This is the fundamental challenge when we flip over from being the admin or specialist or solution architect. When you go from being customer to consultant, that's always a challenge. Is we got to suddenly learn,
but you got to know
everything about a company in like 2 weeks.
I mean, I want to push back on that a little bit because the way that I've always approached it is I don't need to necessarily know the ins and outs of the business. The thing that I would drive to know is how all of these teams are working.
but they don't know
What
how
are
they
their
work.
ways of working?
What are their pain points?
How do they get their work in? I don't care necessarily about the work until I absolutely need to know the intimate details of said work.
Yeah,
I need to know how they do their work
but most
and
of the time
how
they
it
don't
relates
know.
to each other team. What tools do they use? What's their process? Where does their work come from? All those types of things.
Yeah, that's my very first step when I approach a new team. It's my who's who in the zoo.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, how does something get on a developer's backlog? Like, what are all the different
My
email, Slacks, channels, everything that somehow somebody's got to do some work?
my first question usually is, and again, go to the people who use the tool and go, what's your pain point?
Mhm.
What's hurting? What
Sure.
what's not great? This actually reminds me of a story that I grew up with. My family, both my parents were soldiers, and we were told the story ad nauseum growing up. So story time with Rodney here. My mom was a sergeant, and she was known as a fixer. She would go into a problem unit and fix whatever was wrong and then move on to the next problem unit. One point, she got transferred over to logistics, where she had to go to her commander and go, I don't know logistics. I'm not trained for logistics. Why am I being assigned to this role? And he literally had to look at her and go, look, we don't need a person who knows logistics. We need a person who fixes problems.
Mhm.
The people who are already there know the logistics. You just need to remove the roadblocks for them.
Yep.
And I think about that a lot in my Atlassian practice, as I'm not necessarily there to learn every single minutia of what my teams do. I'm just there to go in and remove the problems so they could do what they do more efficiently.
I'm gonna push back though a little bit, because you need to have a vested interest in what they do to help inspire the best solution. Because otherwise, you can just get a solution from another company that kind of worked.
I mean, yeah, but you're still going to have those pain points with that solution. You still have to go in and ask, what's your pain point? What's the roadblock? What are your blockers? There's
you can't
500
just
different ways to
ask
ask
the
the same
question, though,
question,
because
but you still have to go through that exercise.
Right, but you as the admin need to have a vested interest in their answer, because they can just regurgitate things back, but they don't know their processes and they don't know their pain points, and they don't usually know how to articulate either. So I usually see it as my responsibility to help them bridge those aha moments. But you don't do that. You don't get an aha moment as an admin if you're just listening and not really paying attention.
I think, and I've said this to people. I don't know if I've said this on podcasts, but in the experience that I have, so this is a sample size of one, but I've said this to other people and they agree. But I would say 90%, literally 90% of the engagements, the use cases, the projects that I've been involved in regards to solutioning the Atlassian suite, 90% is people, and 10% is tooling. So I think a lot of it is getting a good understanding and building a good relationship with the people themselves, and trying to understand them on kind of that, like, common humanistic level of, what are the frustrations that you're having, and just distilling that down. Because I think it's, yes, someone could say like, hey, well, yeah, we don't get this part delivered here, and this because this is blocking this, and then that is blocking that. And it's like, yeah, I can understand that at a high conceptual level, like what that is. But at the end of the day, we're all kind of facing the same thing. Like, you have a thing that you need to get done, and it is being blocked by this thing, by this team, by this person. And it's figuring out how to thread that needle between, like, I'm just here to set this tool up for you, versus I'm here to really understand the actual problem. Not necessarily the intricate details of the work, but what is the actual problem that's stopping you from doing the work?
But they don't always know what the problem is, though.
That's why I just put
You
the
have to
word
ask the right
facilitator.
questions. You have to be able to sift through.
But you can't script the questions you ask. Like I can't have here's my 10 normal questions I go and ask, and we're gonna get an answer. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to have some vested interest in like general curiosity to their problem to like go on that journey with them.
Yeah, I don't think anybody said don't. I think it was that you didn't have to have like deep expertise in their organization or in, what they're developing.
I'll
right?
give you that. But here's here's where we contrast this, because at least in my experience, again, what did you say? Sample size of one?
Yeah, exactly.
Your Jira admins are usually offshore resources that are in the IT space, right? And so I would not expect a person that's not even an employee of my company to care about my pain points.
Well, I mean, that's a different, I think that part of that is a different conversation. I am saying,
but
so I'm saying it from the
admin.
Yeah, I'm saying it from the perspective of someone who works directly for a company that is in this role that wants to kind of go to the next level or get themselves thought of differently, or get themselves a raise, or have more success, or whatever, or show their value more, those types of things. I mean, if the company's outsourcing it, then you're basically, it's the same as if you hired a partner. It's the same thing. Like it's not. That's a totally different scenario.
That'll be a next topic for next time Josh comes. Should your admins be insourced or outsourced?
I know what my opinion is.
I know what mine is too.
I probably have surprisingly, even though it should be binary, I think I have a third option I'd go with.
Come on, let's just have it. Let's
why not both?
Exactly. It's one supplemented with other.
You could.
Right. Yeah. So again, going back to that.
I get challenged more when it's both.
Of course you do.
Of course.
But if we go back to the idea of, can one person possess all the things, right? But if you need all the things, then you could have the internal person who can be supplemented potentially, by those external expertises, maybe in particular areas, enough to really support it. I mean, frankly, I care a lot about my customers, and I carry their stress, and I carry like all the things that they want to do. And personally, maybe too much of it. Like when I start working with a customer, I feel like I am part of their organization. I personally don't feel separated from that. And that might not be true for every consultant contractor out there. It's true for me. And I think there are a lot of people out there like that. And, so that Rodney's answer makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It can be that.
I like Stu's here. I think this is kind of what we're arguing against, right? We're like, I think if you're just a plain vanilla Jira admin and all you do is workflows and statuses, vaya con Dios, amigo. But if you follow some of this other advice that we're providing, like you can't.
Well, yeah, I mean look, I'm not gonna lie. That is part of why I'm like saying the stuff I'm saying, because like, yeah, some of this, not all of it, dude. Come on, like we know, like not all of this is going to be completely shut off in 6 months,
right?
But the thing, and that is actually part of the topic that I'm talking about too, is that the skills that are going to be in the most demand as we continue barreling down this AI this road that is, nobody's doing any QC on, by the way, like we're just doing it, is human skills. Like soft skills, like the ability to understand context, the ability to understand people, the ability to communicate and build those relationships with people across the business. Those are skills that AI can't do and are not going to be able to do.
Has anybody had an experience when AI was like, no, that's a terrible idea. That should not happen because AI feels like the ultimate yes man. And what company, what leader, okay, lots of leaders, want people to give honest feedback. But when you've got this thing telling you, that is a great idea, and here's exactly how to implement it, let's go do that.
I just had that right before we jumped on this call. Yeah, right before we jumped on the pod, like I was with the client and he's needed to do something. And so he's in Gemini and I'm in Jupyter. And both AIs got a solution. I'm like, this is like not even possible. Yet they both gave us the same answer. And the guy said, well, let's just try it. I'm like, I'm smarter than AI at this point still. It doesn't work. And 20 minutes later, he's like, you were right. But the conviction of AI.
The conviction, the sureness, and to Sarah's point, it always does. Even if it's a wrong answer, it's going to give you an answer, and it's going to be absolutely positive about it and tell you there is a solution. And sometimes you do need someone to go in and say, "That no, that's not possible." Or better yet, you shouldn't do that.
It's possible that becomes the new role of the Jira admin is to fight AI. Because I've been in conversations over the last 3 to 4 months where one of my bosses or handlers or whatever you want to call them, they're like, Alex, do this. And I'm looking at the requirements. I'm like, that's not a Jira feature. He's like, according to GPT-5 it is. I'm like, that's not a Jira feature.
I mean, we've even run into
he's like,
this.
prove it to me that it's not a Jira feature. So now my job is to prove that AI is wrong.
I mean, we've even run into this running the Jira Life where we see something on Reddit that says, hey, you could use Jira to do X. And we're looking at this going, we're the experts. This isn't possible, right?
My favorite is when we challenge Atlassian's documentation. And we're like, this is not a feature.
Have you guys seen the stats of like where ChatGPT gets its information from? Like I think it's like 60%, 60 to 70% is Reddit. Like this is like, seriously.
It'll show you like little icons of the website that it's looking up.
Yeah.
Right.
Reddit's always usually one of the first ones.
Deep research is Reddit. That's the secret.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've gotten some great information off of Reddit personally.
Yeah.
But
you still have to be the one to sit there and go through it and go, okay, this is valid, and okay, this is someone going off on a wild tangent. That's
it's also like the sarcasm and intentional trolling capital of the world too.
My little marketing spiel is going to be now. My headline is going to be: call me when you're frustrated by your AI results and Jira's not doing it.
So yesterday and now, if somebody's going to take this, they're going to take it, and it's fine because if you don't do something with your idea, it's no longer your idea. Anyway, I wanted to go out and register their AI fixed it. And list all the things.
Don't give URL to Rodney. Look, he's already clicking. He's got credit card in hand.
I'm pretty sure my host or my DNS registrar doesn't need my credit card information anymore.
Can we buy the ClickUp Live and the Monday.com Live while we're there? I think we gotta.
I think I already have one.
Yeah, we gotta buy them all. We're diversified in 2026.
Someone actually bought the Confluence guy right out from under me.
Right.
I'll have to tell you. I'll tell you guys off stream, but I have one that's interesting that I have.
See, because Josh is smarter than me. I'm just like, here, take all my stuff. I don't care if somebody
between Rodney or Sean, that domain has been taken care of.
Can you just put a little disclaimer on the bottom that says hashtag I really
I'm in a conference with Sean in March, and we're listening to a conversation about like some presentation, and they're showing this model. And I look over to Sean, and he's on Amazon, his cart checkout.
And we're done.
Like, man, but it must be nice to have money to just buy whatever you want.
Well, that's the thing. Domains are cheap.
Right?
Until they're not. Until you have 50 of them.
Yeah,
well, now I
me
guess
and my wife
I'm gonna
had
go
that
buy it,
conversation a good bit.
Hang on. Let's see if it's already taken now.
Well, folks, for the rest of that conversation, you're definitely going to have to come to the Atlassian Builders Summit, October 22nd through the 24th, and come listen to Josh give the rest of those insights.
Mhm.
Last 5 minutes, Josh. What else is anything else you want to highlight, talk about, believe in, Superman in, hope in?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
What
look,
else? Be curious, not judgmental.
yes, exactly.
Anything we want to judge on?
Well, I mean, look, I feel like my relationship with like Atlassian is like a sibling, right? Like you're gonna fight sometimes, but for the most part, you know, if somebody else comes over and is like, "Hey, man," like, you know, giving it some grief, you're kind of like, "Now listen, now I get to talk trash," right? My relationship is still very much like that with Atlassian. So it's like, I think although they've done some stuff recently that I know like a lot of people don't like and all that. Yeah, I mean, they've done things I don't like over the years for sure and all that, but I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for that set of tools and that company. And I still like them. I still think they're valuable. I still think they can provide a lot of value for people. And I still think most companies don't get the most value out of them that they can. And that's also why I still have a job, you know, because that unfortunately, you know, doesn't happen universally. And I know it can be frustrating and I know it can be frustrating, but I still think there's more good than bad. And if it ever got to the point where I thought that was not the case anymore, I would probably be one of the first people to say it. But I still kind of believe in it. And at the end of the day, I still love the community that it has. I think that's at times arguably its best asset is the community. Even when the tools let you down, the community doesn't. Yeah, so those are my kind of parting thoughts.
Well, folks, we got 3 minutes. Ronnie's over there buying domains.
I promise you, I am not.
I did.
You bought one?
I just finished it because I was like, damn, I really like this idea.
If you like it, just go. I'm serious, folks.
We now have to hold Sarah accountable to build whatever it is she just bought.
I might never build anything, but I did want to respond a little bit to Josh, right? And that kind of goes back to my like, gosh, I wish I could see the big picture, right? Because speaking of the believe sign back there, and I'm all like Mulder, like I want to believe there's a plan for what's going on, right? That they're not just completely rando, like, hey, let's just do this kind of change. I think there is a vision, and I'll be along for that, right? To see it to its hopeful, not completion, but right to some sort of fulfillment of where are they going with all of this, and what is this going to do? Because there is so much power in the tools, right? I mean, and it's not, we use them, we like using them, we have our challenges, and then to the extended point, right? Because it is the community, right? The community exists because we have a passionate, and so far, I don't think anybody's found like the better thing, right? It's not like, oh, this is just so much better. So anyway, there's my hope.
I'm right there with you with hope, Sarah, because my hope is hanging by a thread.
It says the guy who literally just created an Atlassian Builders Summit,
right?
And is and
let me
through
tell
the
you about this
pain
guy
of building that.
Yeah,
I hate it. I'm hanging by a thread. Right.
Let me tell you about that. Not only did he build the Atlassian Builders Summit, he had the goal to put Atlassian Builders Summit 2025, which means at some point he was already planning on Atlassian Builders Summit 2026.
Yes, exactly. This is the inaugural Builders Summit. That's what I've been telling everybody. You know what's going to happen again next year, Alex. Come on, man. You can't just one and done this.
The numbers
give me 30 seconds
Alex
when we
has
go
told
off air.
us over the years.
You can't one and done this, man.
I literally said, I was talking to somebody who was letting me know, hey, I listened to the show and we were talking about having a builder summit and I shared this exact information. I was like, he puts everything into these things.
Mhm.
And then when it's done, he's like, I think you just have this drop, man. You have this like total adrenaline drop and you're like, "Oh, now what do I do? I'm not going to do
But
that again. Blah, blah,
let's
blah." And then 10
review
minutes
all-
later, let's plan it.
Yeah, let's review all the nevers Alex has said that we're already planning for the next ones.
Like what?
Anyone remember the 24-hour live stream?
Right.
We're never gonna
What-
do another one.
You're already planning one in
Till you do.
2029.
The one in 3 years from now,
Yes.
Mhm.
dude. I gotta make it to next week, let alone 3 years from now.
I'm never going to take another ACP. How many
I'm
are you up
taking
to now?
ACAs. It's nothing but ACAs.
I'm not talking about those. How many ACPs are you up to now?
3. I needed them for a little side project I needed them for.
I'm sorry, Alex. You're a dear friend of mine, but I just never quite believe you anymore when you say I'm never going to do anything again.
You just
So-
wait and see, man. This one's more serious than anything else.
Next week on the Jira Life, we're going to talk about what it is to be an Alex admin, all the skill sets you need to have to work with Alex and to understand his configurations and his settings, to work with him, to counsel, etc.
I was working with somebody recently, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm an only child," and then my wife's like, "Oh, that explains everything,"
Yeah.
because my wife knows what it's like to work with somebody who's an only child.
Indeed.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep. Thank you.
Take us out, Ronnie.
All right. So next week we are not going to be talking about what it is to deal with Alex. We're actually going to be talking about what you need to know to get ready for Team 25 Europe, because again, talk about things Alex said he'll never do again.
Again, I've never been to Europe, so
Rodney, there's a
after
lot of
this-
overlap in what I said the topic was going to be and what you're saying the topic's going to be.
I know. I'm trying not to, but we're going to be talking about what you need to know to survive Team 25 Europe. And Alex is probably going to spend most of the show taking notes. But thank you for watching. Thank you, Josh, for being on. We always love having you on. We need to get you on sooner next time.
Yeah, this is February since you were last on.
Yeah.
But as we say here, we didn't choose the Jira Life. Jira Life chose us. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, and Sarah, #I believe Sarah, Wright. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us as we record this podcast live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and the other Jiramigos of the Peanut Gallery each week to ask questions, add your comments, and tell us what you're up to. If you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. You can also find this as a podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you think this podcast deserves a rating, it would be much appreciated, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us. Thank you to Revyz for backing us up and making the Jira Life possible.